The fall of a giant, the tragic end of Çandarlı Halil Pasha. In the cold corridors of power, loyalty can turn to suspicion, and wisdom, once revered, can become a curse. This is the painful legacy of Çandarlı Halil Pasha, once the most powerful man in the Ottoman Empire, now remembered by many as either a traitor or a misunderstood guardian of an empire in transition. He was no ordinary man. Çandarlı came from a family that had walked beside the Osmanlı dynasty since the days of Orhan Gazi. He was a pillar of the state, a grand vizier who had weathered wars, secured victories at Varna and Kosovo, and shaped the empire's core during its most turbulent years. For decades, he was a mind behind the sword, the voice behind the throne. But empires are not built on the past. They are propelled by vision, and vision came, burning like wildfire, in the eyes of a young sultan named Mehmed. When Sultan Murad II handed over the reins of the empire to his son, the world stood still. Fatih Sultan Mehmed, young, brilliant, and untested, had inherited not just a throne, but the dreams of a civilization. Yet Çandarlı, the old lion of the court, did not believe. He feared. He doubted. He resisted. Too young, he muttered behind closed doors. Too reckless. Too hungry for glory. And in that whisper, the seeds of distrust were sown. When Constantinople, the eternal prize, lay in sight, Fatih saw destiny, but Çandarlı saw danger. For 53 days, cannons roared, blood was spilled, and history held its breath. And still, Çandarlı hesitated. Some say he even reached out to the Byzantines, begging them not to surrender. Was it betrayal? Or was it the desperate act of a man clinging to peace in a world set on fire? No evidence. Just silence and suspicion. But the walls of Constantinople fell, stone by stone, soul by soul. On May 29th, 1453, the city was taken. The crescent had pierced the cross. And Fatih, now conqueror, stood alone at the summit of history. The boy was gone. A sultan had risen. And the old guard? They had to fall. Çandarlı Halil Pasha was arrested without ceremony. Once the voice of empire, he was now a prisoner of progress. He was taken to the Yenikül fortress, locked in a tower that would one day also cage Sultan Osman II. His fate was sealed. Strangulation, the death reserved for nobles. No blood, no noise, just the final silence of a fading era. His death shook the empire, but there were no public tears. No last words carved in stone. Only whispers and the haunting question, did he deserve it? Some say yes, that his pride blinded him, that he tried to shackle a sultan destined to fly, that in his final years, he became the very obstacle he had once fought to destroy. Others say no, that he was a protector, not a traitor, a man torn between duty to the state and fear for its future, that he saw in Mem not destiny, but danger, too much ambition, too fast, too soon. But history is written by the victors, and Fatih was victorious. Today, Çandarlı's name is often spoken with a pause, with pain. His early legacy as a loyal servant of the empire is drowned by the shadow of his end. He who had helped build the empire became the symbol of its old ways. He who had guarded the throne became the first grand vizier to be executed by an Ottoman sultan. It was not just the fall of a man. It was the death of an age. So what is the lesson? Perhaps it is this. Never let fear hold back a rising star. Never let ego silence the future. And never, ever believe that power will protect you when the winds of change begin to howl. The story of Çandarlı Halil Pasha is not just one of politics or power. It is a tale of every leader who refuses to let go, and every empire that must choose between loyalty and legacy.